So the history of Facebook, right, just very quickly. So I started Facebook. My team launched Facebook platform, huge success. Then, we do this big deal with Microsoft. We raise a huge round, and at the tail end of that round, it's like, oh, well, we're going to launch a bunch of ad products to validate this valuation, and we're going to do all this stuff. And my team goes out and we build 3 products. And again, talk about conflating luck and skill. I had all these people, all of our best guys, working on this product with me, which we called social ads and Beacon. And then we had another thing doing sponsored stories, and then we had another team focused on an online self-service ad product. Most of the resources in Mindshare, none of the resources in Mindshare. 8 people, our best engineers, product managers, 2 people. Fast forward to today, all of the revenue, billions of dollars, scaling inordinately, lawsuits, FTC suing us, people telling me on the New York Times I lied about how cross-site scripting worked. I'm not going to lie about cross-site scripting to the New York Times. New York Times, okay? Guys? I mean, really? Like, that's what I'm going to lie to you guys about? So stupid. Anyways, this just goes to show you, at that point, we were seeing this like what looked like monotonically negative growth, and we were like, oh my God, what's happening? It was like 25, 30 million people. So we came up with this idea, okay, we're going to focus on growth, and we went and created a team. As part of that, we said we're going to internationalize. We're going to launch. And we're just going to go everywhere all over the world. And so we used, again, we dog-fooded our own product, and we used Facebook platform to create this crowdsourcing translation, which was really successful. But long story short, we get to Japan, Korea, and it's a constant refrain. I go around the valley, I talk to some folks who've done this before, the guys at Yahoo, the guys at Google, the guys at eBay, just to get a sense of like, how did you think about it? And all these people had the same answer. Well, we take these MBAs who really want to live on an expat package, and we send them out there. And you're just like, okay, well, that's not the right answer. So first thing we did was we hired only native people in those native markets. So I had these guys, trying to, I have an MBA from Harvard. I really want to spend time around. I'm like, get the fuck out of my office. Go to ba.com, buy a ticket, get out of my face. You're not going to travel on the company dime. But you'd hire all these people natively. So we had this amazing guy that we hired in Japan who raised his hand. He said, it's really important to actually have specific elements of the profile be different. Because in Japan, the cultural dynamic is different. And so we said, well, what does that mean to you? And he said, well, maybe it means, putting your blood type on the profile. And you're like, that makes no sense. But it makes no sense to us. But it makes sense to him. And so, we developed this flexibility where we're like, okay, well, maybe the connections we're trying to make in that market are a little too elusive. So this product that worked here just didn't have any context here. And so you would say, well, Facebook has clear product value. But in Japan at the time, it didn't. And so having the courage to sort of like reset and redefine what it means in any given market, again, takes a lot of courage. And we did it. And now it's massively scaling. And then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and you're like, oh my gosh. It's like we don't know what we don't know. In every single market, people react differently. They behave differently. They speak different languages. Guess what? Spanish is not Spanish. Maybe you didn't know that. 5 minutes. I got it. I'm on it. So the point is, even when you think something works, it probably doesn't work for everyone. And finding a framework that allows you to actually restructure and reorganize the things that you're doing to expose value in different ways to different people in different situations is an extremely important thing. Again, goes back to how do you live in a world where you're willing to redefine and reset the things that you do independent of what the short-term feedback loop is telling you. It's a very difficult proposition. We knew we were going to beat MySpace when we had like 45 million users. They had like 115 million. We just knew. We used to just like, that was not what we celebrated. We celebrated it at 45 million. It was kind of like a high five. We're like, all right, let's get back to work. And the reason was because we had started to do enough things right where we could just see now. We understood what we were doing. After all the testing, all the iterating, all of this stuff, you know what the single biggest thing we realized? Get any individual to 7 friends in 10 days. That was it. You want a keystone? That was our keystone. There was not much more complexity than that. There's an entire team now, hundreds of people that have helped ramp this product to 1 billion users based on that one simple rule. So if you were looking for a lot of complexity, I couldn't give it to you. But we were able to reframe the entire experience around that one simple premise. A very simple, elegant statement of what it was to both capture core product value, to define what it meant to be able to onboard into a product that allowed you to communicate, to get into a network, to find density, and then to basically iterate around that.
By far the best investment you can make is in yourself. If you invest in yourself, nobody can take it away from you.